Charlie wants to know, why do you think so many parts of the world, including our own, are so scared of making long-lasting decisions regarding gender equality? What are they afraid of?
Well, I mean, that's down to the political system, isn't it? Which is
Yeah.
it's a bit unfortunate because people are only, you only have government terms for 4 years.
Yeah.
And you do get a lot of people who don't really feel politics in their blood, but they're just kind of like, well, that's a career that I could do for 10 years. I could have done anything. I'll go into politics for 10 years, and then they go on to work for other companies or other consultancies.
Yeah.
So they're not really interested in long-term plans.
Yeah.
And also long-term plans are hard.
Yeah.
It's the difference between being on a diet for one day,
Yeah.
and eating healthily for the rest of your life. Kind of like anybody can just starve for one day, but eating healthily for the rest of your life is an entirely different thing. But being on a diet for one day and starving is completely useless.
Yes.
Eating healthily for the rest of your life is a key tool that you need to have. So we need to look at the way that the political system works and build in incentives for making long-term improvements into our society. And we'll only do that if people who aren't career politicians want to get involved in politics again. The kind of people who will be MPs for 40 or 50 years representing their local area, because then they have accountability. If they're not there putting in plans that benefit everybody long-term, then the people that they're representing back in their hometown will not elect them anymore.
Yeah.
So it's that reconnecting of politics, just getting those ideas from the people up to Parliament again. And one of the reasons that I wanted to write my manifesto was to make politics a good profession to go into again, because I think these days politics is so devalued.
People are so disillusioned by politicians.
We hate
It's
politicians.
unbelievable. Yeah.
The rise of Donald Trump in America is people just going, well, he's not a politician.
So we'll vote for him.
Yeah, he's like, he's talking
Because they
real
think
talk.
he lives outside of that system.
Exactly. Well, of course, he's hugely part of that. He is the system. He inherited billions of dollars. He is the system. There's no one more the system than Donald Trump. But people think he is non-political. He's not a professional politician, and so they're voting for him. And people don't trust politicians anymore, which, to the point where if your child came downstairs now and said, Mum, I've decided I want to be a politician, you would probably treat them as if they had just said, Mum, I've just decided to be a massive pervert.
Yeah.
Good people don't want to go into politics anymore. And that was, and we need to change that conversation and, and look to the MPs that do address these things. I love Stella Creasy, who's a brilliant, obviously female MP who's there. She works brilliantly on a local level. She works on a national level. She was there for the tampon tax. She talks about payday loans.
Yeah.
Just things that do, things that change people's long term, rather than being one of those politicians who just comes in, kind of shakes some hands, go, I'm deeply concerned about this, and then does nothing about it. We know plenty of them.
No, it's true. I think, God, wouldn't it be awesome if kids were excited to say, I'm going to be a politician one day?
It would be
I'm
amazing.
so excited.
We have
Can't
devalued
wait.
politics, and it's to our, it's the people who get screwed over by that.
Aspirational.
Yeah, the demos in democracy means the people, and we are losing the people in democracy. We need to make it an honourable, job again.
I want to ask one of my questions now.
Yeah.
So, for feminists, the area of everything from porn to stripping to prostitution is often sort of lumped into one category, or sort of perceived in the same way as sort of one big problem. And I'm really interested that you have very different views on each individual topic.
Yes.
So you have a very different view on stripping from what you do on porn, from what you do on sex work, from what you do. And I found that really interesting and really specific, and I just wondered if you could talk about how you see all of those things and why you see them so distinctly and separately.
Well, you're so right that the big problem is that they do all get lumped together. That's again because we're not used to talking about women, and also we freak out about female sexuality, and that is rooted in history. Up until we invented contraception and antibiotics, for a woman to have sexual desire and be sexually active meant that she was A, at risk of disease, and B, risk of pregnancy. And those are things you genuinely wanted to avoid, because you had a 1 in 4 chance of dying in childbirth. Diseases were completely incurable. So it was in a woman's interest to not be sexual. A chaste woman would be a safe woman. She had a better chance of living. And from a male point of view, you would want a chaste woman because you wouldn't want to catch a disease from her. These are the simple, awful facts of history. Obviously everything's changed now. Women can have sex without getting pregnant. We can cure these diseases. So if we look at all these things now, something like sex work. If we invented sex work now, we would not have the attitudes to it that we have, because ours are rooted in a time of fear and disease, and a time when a sexual woman was seen as a bad woman. You were either a whore or a virgin.
Right.
You know, my view, and I'm still flexible on this. I'm still learning about it, but my view on sex work is that we all these intimate things that we are happy to exchange money for. You know, we will pay people to look after our dying people. We'll pay people to look after our newborn babies. You can pay someone to bleach your bumhole from brown to pink if you so desire. We are unashamed of all of these things, and yet this one thing, sex work, we sort of go, no, that has to be completely special. We just need to make those women safe now.
Yeah.
We can talk later and untangle this huge thing of centuries of us being screwed up about sex. But as things are at the moment, we leave women who do sex work to be in dangerous places. We put them on the edges of towns like sacrificial victims that are left on the edges of town. They're the bad girls that are allowed to be killed. So we need to make sure those women are safe. That's the first thing we do. We make sure that they can work in brothels, that they are known to the police. So if they have any problem, they can go to the police. If they've been trafficked, they can say, I've been brought into this country illegally. You know, I'm telling you now, I need to be helped. And later on we can talk about, you know, what sex is, but right now we can't let another girl be murdered, be raped, be attacked, be scared, feel that she can't go to the authorities because what she's doing is stigmatised and not legal.
But you feel very differently about porn, and you feel differently about stripping, and
Yeah.
how do you see those as different?
Well, with pornography, I mean, you know, there's a big thing that like kind of porn is bad for women, and if you look, you know, if you're a feminist, you shouldn't be into pornography,
Right.
but pornography of itself is just watching some people have sex.
Yeah.
And we see that in classical paintings, we see it on the side of vases, we see it in scrolls from 3,000 years ago. If you walk down the street and someone's forgotten to draw their curtains, you can see it through someone's window.
Yeah.
And I can tell you the people at number 87, they have got it going on right now. And that's not damaging to me to see that.
No.
You know, that's not damaging to a woman or a feminist to see some people having, you know, some consensual sex.
Yeah.
What we're talking about in pornography is the pornography industry and
Right.
the ideas and aesthetic that it has.
Right.
You know, if all you're seeing in it, there's a kind of monoculture of pornography at the moment. Like 90% of the sex that you will see in pornography on the internet will be a man will come in, a woman will be sitting there, he'll like go jigga 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 on her tits for 30 seconds, and then jigga 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 the tits, then he'll probably go like 3 times in the general vagina area. And you're feeling like kind of, you know what, if you found my clitoris, if it's there, I'll give you the money myself. You are 3.5 inches out. There's no pleasure going on there. That's not even happening. Then he'll get on top of her and do her on top. Then he'll turn her over and do it from behind. Then he'll do some anal sex, and then he'll spaff on her face. And job's done in like 4.5 minutes, which is the average time of a wank, a male wank.
Right.
And you're like, well, if that's all